Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, welcome back to the much anticipated, everlasting, ever elusive Swaggy Sports Podcast. Back for another season with one of the strongest soldiers in the regime, in the Omerta, Mr. Taji. I'm gonna have to give you the floor, man, because obviously got a fresh new ring on the finger.
Feeling good. We got when you refer to me as two-time champ. And I need me another one of these. I'm feeling
Yes.
good. I'm coming off, Phillies, we chasing the one seed. I've been saying this since the first time the Phillies went to the World Series. I got a tweet to back it up.
Yes.
I said if a Philly team wins the championship, another one will guaranteed win the same year. This one just has to
Mm.
start the party. The Eagles won. Now the Phillies are going to win. I stand on that. They've been due. And I just watched my soccer team, Liverpool, come up with a first dub in the Champions League. I'm feeling good today. Birds 2-0. Can't complain. Sports world, we're doing good over here.
I'm happy for you, bro. I really am. Cause I
Long
mean,
overdue, man.
at the end of the day, obviously last year is last year. We're talking about 25, 26 this season, but the fact that my squad had the opportunity to be the one to potentially keep you out of it, I
Mm.
gotta get my hats off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to. And y'all
Yeah.
handle business. Y'all handle business. I
And
think
I give you all your respect because I tell you, you're definitely the last team we expected to be playing against in that situation. I mean, we knew we was going to be there, but I definitely didn't think y'all was going to be there. I'm not gonna lie. So
Oh,
that was a good run. Respect the kid. I respect the squad, but we still the big dogs. That's all.
I hear you. At the end of the day, all I was thinking this off season, respectfully, is like I love Jaden. I love the pieces that we brought in, but if we can't get out of our division, it really don't matter. Because y'all the best team in the league right now. Rightfully so. It is what it is. I can't hate on that. I wouldn't have done my due diligence going through my master's program, learning how to write without bias if I didn't say it call it how I see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as we're here tonight, I wanted to get a couple topics off our chest. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks into the 2025 season, but I feel like there is, especially me and you, we can give some North Star projections for a couple of teams. Obviously, we got a fresh crop of 2-0 squads, some 0-2s, and the first topic I wanted to talk about basically is who we see as the best 2-0 teams, the worst 2-0 teams, respectfully, the best 0-2 squads, and the 0-2s that we expect drafting top five when it comes to following March. I think it'll be a good conversation.
Yeah.
I want to start off with you. Obviously, the floor is yours. Give me a couple of teams that you see are rightfully so earning their 2-0 record, whether they're exceeding expectations, they're right where you expect them to be, beating the teams that they've had to beat in their first two games. Talk to me. Who do you see as the best 2-0 teams in the league
All
right
right.
now?
So I guess I got a top five of 2-0 teams of who I think are the ones that are respectable.
Mhm.
I got the Birds, obviously, defending Super Bowl champions. I got the Bills, a mainstay in the playoffs, make a good run. Maybe it might be their year this year. I've been calling for it for a long time, so we'll see.
You have.
The Rams, I think they're a respectable squad. They're just a good squad all around. D line, receivers, quarterback, everywhere. They're a good squad.
Yeah.
The two that I am surprised by a little bit more are the Packers. They look legit, and the Chargers. I would give them, I'm always the one calling Justin Herbert. I'm talking down on him. I'm calling him Tony Romo, and he has not done anything other than prove me right to this point. But I do think he is a talented quarterback, and I do think that in the regular season at least, he can make a run. He beat Pat his week one, which
Hmm.
he doesn't really ever do. I think he's only done one time in his career. So respect to him. He played a great game that day, a really great game. So
Yeah.
I got them as my top five: the Birds, the Bills, the Rams, the Packers, Chargers. Best 2-0 teams.
I like that. I like that. I would second majority of those. Starting with the Chargers. My biggest thing going into this season, you have Harbaugh at the helm, and he's openly admitted to saying multiple times that he views O linemen as skill positions.
Uh,
They drafted Marion Hampton first round, Joe Alt the year before that. I was expecting them to run the ball a lot, even though they have Jay Herbo as the quarterback at the helm. But like you said, they've been surprising me and they've been letting him throw the ball much more than I expected. And they're handling business. Simple as that. He looks poised. The defense is flying around. Derwin's being Derwin. They lose Bosa. They also lost Khalil Mack, but I like how they're looking. I would also second the Eagles, where you can speak on them much more than I can, but even though we talked about it before we started recording, they don't have to throw the ball to win games. I feel like Jalen is the most poised he's ever been. He just looks calm. Especially in that opening game against the Cowboys. I felt like every decision he made was the right decision, whether it was throwing the ball, whether it was tucking and running, usually was for a touchdown. I think y'all had against the Chiefs six tush pushes in the second half,
yeah.
all efficient. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like I said, every year Jalen's been at QB1, they've had a different OC. So there could be a lot of haywire going on with situations like that, but it feels like they haven't missed a beat at all. Not really abusing Saquon as much as I thought you guys would in the first 2 years coming in. I mean, first two
Mhm.
games,
Love to see
OPOY,
that. Love to see that.
keeping them fresh. AJ's there when you need him. Devontae's always there when you need him. Y'all
Always.
even got Dotson getting some deep balls, which is something that we never really did when we had him. Shout out to bro for
Shout
sure.
out, Han.
What did I write down? Second most rushing touchdowns in the league with five. You're only behind the Bills with six. Saquon's 148 total rushing yards. That's ninth. Then you have Jalen Hurts with 77 total, which is top 50 in the league. Um, and the defense is there. You have your rookie Makuba making plays on Pat Mahomes, sealing the deal.
Mhm.
Um, Jalen Carter would have had a nice game week 1 if he wasn't spitting on bulls. You know what I mean?
You
The
wanna-
roster's there. The
We're
roster's there.
it's there, it's there. You mean Pat got a thing for throwing it to our rookie DBs, I guess. I don't know.
Very true. That's a valid take. That's for sure. I like the Eagles. Obviously the Bills. Bills look strong. Despite the fact that they almost lost to the Ravens in week 1, they showed me a lot the fact that they came back. Now Ravens fans are gonna hate me for this. I feel like they find ways to lose the game infamously for the
Yeah.
past couple of years. Um, Everyone knows that's been watching this podcast. We've all been big on Lamar can't do it by himself. Then we start to get him some weapons and they start dropping the ball. They start fumbling at the goal line. Just stupid errors that you can't make in crunch time. Everybody's tired, but we got to focus. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like their biggest
Mhm.
Achilles heel is that they
Awesome.
aren't locked in crunch time. And the Bills handled business. It was up down 15 with at least 8 minutes to go. That week 1 game, and the
Tough.
Ravens find a way to fold.
And it's tough. It's tough to find a way to lose to a team like the Bills, who seems to be a team that finds a way to lose as well. You know, when that's becoming your reputation, that's not a good look.
100 pace.
Especially after last season, the way you lost to them, you would think you'd come back and set the tone. So, like you said, I think that said a lot about the Bills, but I think it also said a lot about the Ravens. They got
For
to
sure.
learn how to win.
Yeah,
They don't know how to win still.
simply put. And I mean, especially with me being around the area, everybody's calling for Harbaugh's head, which I think I feel like it's warranted, but especially, I feel like now everyone's looking for the young gun OC that could be a head coach now.
Yeah.
And you look at the Saints with Kellen Moore.
Mhm.
You look at Dave Canales in Pantherville. They just,
James Steichen,
yeah, like I
Brian
respect the
Johnson.
move, but it's just you have a veteran coach in Harbaugh that knows how to get the job done for the most part, but they just got to bring it all together. They got to bring it together. But sticking on the Bills, some of the things I wrote down: number one in yards gained in the first 2 weeks with 450. Number two in points scored with 71. They waxed the Jets. Shout out to all my Jets fans, but they waxed them last week.
Shut up.
I mean, they barely put up points in the first half. Um, Josh Allen tied seventh most passing yards with 542. He has the 27th most rushing yards in the league, third most for
Mm.
a quarterback with 89. Um,
Hey, Judge.
and we'll talk about a little bit later as far as injuries are concerned, but they're fairly healthy, which is something that I think we have to take advantage talk about for the most part because everyone's dropping like flies for some reason. But I saw this, it said versus the Jets, the first time they've limited an opponent to two completions in an opening two quarters since 2021,
Two
which
completions? It was that bad?
Justin Fields was 3 for 11 total because he went out with a concussion.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, 3 for 11 for 27 yards and then 5 for 49 on the ground. And that is just alarming. You have Tyrod Taylor who comes in, goes 7 for 11, 56 and a touchdown in trash minutes. Like they handle business. They absolutely handle
Yeah, handle
business.
business.
James Cook is looking good. Very, very good. He went
Deserves that bag.
21. Yes, much deserved. Much deserved. I don't know the exact number, but the Bills spent fetty this offseason with Josh, with Cook, a couple of other players that they had to ink up. I respect it though,
That's
because
how
like
you
you
gotta do
said,
it.
you gotta build it, and
How
they're
you gotta do
always
it.
right there. So it's not like it's a roster issue. You know what I'm saying? They just got to get over the hump.
Just gotta get over the hump.
Who else did I like for the best 2-0? I also liked the Pack too. I liked the Pack as well. Watching them against my Commanders last Thursday night, I just felt like coming from my end, I feel like everyone going into the season, obviously everyone's like, all right, was the Commanders season last year a fluke? You know what I mean? And I felt like that game Thursday night was a big statement for us showing like, nah, it's valid. It's warranted that we can compete with the best. And they show, even though we scored two touchdowns in the fourth, we didn't play good at all that game. And there was a major discrepancy between the Packers level of play and where we need to get to if we want to stay in the top of the cream of the crop. But I like the Pack. They bring over Micah, obviously his two fellow NFC East beasts. We love to see that. You know what I
Love
mean?
it.
We love
Love
to
it.
see that. He looks great. He had a sack against the Lions week one, half a sack against us, lots of hurries. They're putting him all over the line, multiple techniques. I love to see how they're
Russian
using
like an
him.
absolute animal.
It's I love to see it in a Green Bay uniform. You know what I mean? Hated to see it against us, but I love to see him in a Green Bay
Yeah.
uniform.
I can respect it more against someone else for
Yeah.
sure. And I
Yeah.
can shout out Howie. They said he made a crazy play for him. If we would have got him,
Really.
electric.
I believe it. I believe it. I mean, Howie will have a 30 for 30 when it's all said and done.
He definitely will.
He'll have one because he's got the good ties for he's
Something
got
in
the
the water.
ties. He's got the ties. I like that. I like those for the top 2 and
They're
0 team.
calling for Harbaugh's head though over there.
Oh, it's crazy in B more. It's crazy in
Yeah.
Charm City because they're tired of it, bro. Like they're
I
tired
hear
of
them,
it.
but like, what do they want to do? Like, yeah, they won the young gun OC, but like, who just won the championship? Nick Sirianni, yeah, he was a young OC. He ain't calling
Right,
no plays. He's
right.
more of a hardball type of coach, and them players that play for him love him, bro.
They
Like,
do. They
I
do.
mean, I get it. They want to win. They want and they need to, but that's not on him either. That, like you said, it's drops. It's a fumble at the 1 yard line that turns to a touchback. Like,
Yep.
it's so many things that go into it. I don't blame Harbaugh for it. And I
Hmm.
like the way that he takes it on the chin and he wears it and he takes it for his team and he believes in his team and they believe in him, it seems like. They just gotta win that game that shows them that they can do it. But
For
I
sure.
like Harbaugh. I think he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, and they shouldn't be trying to call for his head. I don't know what they think's better. If they got something better out there, but I don't know. I think he's your guy.
They're impatient and be more, bro. Because at the end of the day,
I hear him.
they're tired of it. I
Bro,
was
they
expecting it. I was expecting them to against the Browns. They obviously ended up airing them out, but if anyone who watched that full game, it was 10-3 at half. It wasn't a good first half for them at all. The
mm,
Ravens only, let me see, they only produced 81 yards of offense in the first half, 4 first downs. Now, the Browns defense is formidable. Always, it has been for the past couple of years. Not an easy team to play against on
no,
defense.
you got defensive player of the year always.
And you got to take that for an account. Arsenal divisional game, they're always going to be close. But I think considering they lost the way they did week one, they had the first half, they had week two. They were lucky they ended up blowing them out in the second half because it would have been much, much more animosity towards the squad and like a lot of questions on what's going
Yeah,
on. But I think they'll be fine. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
early.
they're gonna be just
Obviously,
fine.
they'll be straight. As long as you have Action Jackson, you really
You got a
can't go wrong.
chance.
You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. The worst 2-0 teams. Now, mind you, you're only as good as your record. Everybody knows that. You
Hmm.
got to handle business no matter who you play against. But I feel like you could argue a couple of these 2-0s are fugazi. If you look at the Cardinals 2-0, you look at the Colts, Indiana Jones 2-0. It's very, very
Indiana
interesting.
Jones.
It's very,
Yeah.
very interesting. What are some of the squads you have as arguably, respectfully, the worst 2-0 teams heading into week three?
My worst 2-0 squads are 100%. Oh, my worst 2-0 squads are the Bengals because Joe Burrow's done. He's done. What they say, he's on IR and all. Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah.
the Bengals were already cooked before that, and now they're definitely cooked. And the Colts are last year's version of the Saints. They started off hot. They were like, "Whoa, what's going on? This team coming out of nowhere, 2-0, putting up points. They hasn't punted for the first two games. Oh my gosh,
Yup.
Danny Dimes looking great. Yeah, that's all about to cool down. The Colts are the worst 2-0 squad to go along with the Cardinals. I don't believe in the Cardinals. They played the Saints and the Panthers the first two games. They got a nice warm up to their season like a college team, and they still barely won those some of them games. Those are my worst 2-0 squads. The Bucks are another 2-0 squad that goes unmentioned in the 49ers. I feel like they're kind of just floaters. They're playoff teams probably,
Hmm.
but and could be a threat, but they're not the top of the league or anything.
For sure. I had the Colts considering the fact that, yes, they did beat the Broncos, but it took a penalty on a missed game winning field goal.
Yeah, that was weird.
They move them up 15 yards. You would hope that homeboy could put it in the uprights at that point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Got to give respect to it. The Broncos are supposed to be a formidable team. You know what I mean?
supposedly.
Good win. But when you look at the Dolphins, there's a lot of bad stuff going on in Miami. So they handle business respectfully. I saw that the Colts are 2-0 for the first time since '09. The first time since '09. So it's got to be an
Andrew
oxymoron
Luck.
if you ask me. It got to be, right? Or was
Yeah.
Andrew Luck 2011?
It was Peyton? No, Peyton wasn't there then. Where
That's a
was it
quick
Peyton? Yeah.
That's
That's
worth a quick Google search because I
that's
looked
wild.
at that and didn't bother looking at the roster because it had to have been someone who ain't playing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had the Colts, and like you said, they're bound to come back down to earth eventually. We've seen Daniel Jones play a lot of football. We know how he
He
gets
ain't it.
down. Shout out to JT for sure. He's a bust down this year. You know what I mean? He's
He's
gonna handle
nice.
business.
Jonathan
But
Taylor's gonna get his for sure.
I think they just and I mean you got to give props to where it's due considering they're in the division that they're in who they could squeak it out. You know what I mean? They
They're
very
off to
much
a
could
good
squeak it
start
out.
so far, honestly. They're up 2 games on the Texans so far.
But I I don't see that panning out and staying consistent, especially Indiana Jones. They done gave Bull a nickname and everything. First 2 weeks of the season, but I don't like the Colts.
No.
Cardinals as well. Barely beat the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? And the Panthers,
Barely beat the Saints.
barely beat the
Could
Saints.
have
That's
won
just
if
not a
my
good
boy.
look.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not a good look.
As much as I don't want to be on the Kyler Murray hate train, I feel like the time is now. You know what I mean? You have
About
Maserati
time.
Marv. You know what I mean? Maserati Marv's out there. Trey McBride is a top three tight end in the league right now. Buda's still on defense. They draft Will Johnson out of Michigan, who was looking good in the preseason while I was covering him.
Hmm.
The roster's formidable. They have Mac Wilson with the green dot on defense, LB room, Bama guy who I love, always respected his game. But you think of their coach, he still feel I feel like he still has a lot to prove as a HC. You know what I mean? I feel like when you guys got rid of him, it's just another one of those situations. It's a young bull who we think can just alter a franchise that's been in purgatory for who knows how long. And
Hmm.
it's a tough responsibility. Don't get me wrong when I say that, but it's just I think it revolves a lot on Kyler Murray and if he can really turn it up to be a upper echelon quarterback in this league. And he has yet to prove that. I think he's only made it to the playoff once since he's been there. And I think that was either COVID year or the year before the COVID year. I don't really remember. Too long ago at that point, you know what I mean? But I don't like it. I don't like it for them at all. Another 2 and 0 that I don't really like. I don't like the Niners either, just because of the fact that they have the injury bug. They had the injury bug going into the season. Brock Purdy gets turf toe. Shout out to Mac Jones for sure. I mean, you get the call, you handle business. That's what you got to do as a backup quarterback in this league, but and don't get me wrong, I love Shanahan. I think he's a very good coach to where he can put anyone can hand if they can handle his playbook, they should be able to win games. If C-Mac's healthy, he can get you a game. Defense
Again, just can't get
always
over the hump.
formidable, but he can't get over the hump. Can't get over the hump. The starting quarterback for the Colts in the '09 season was Peyton Manning. He played all 16 regular season games.
There you go. He was out
But
of there probably not long after.
no.
Because when he
And
went on the Broncos, like 13, I feel like.
yeah, I like that. Niners, Cards, And like you said, the Rams having the roster that they have, the coach that they have, it's going to be hard to get out of that division. And you
Yeah.
can't, and it's respectfully, I'm not giving the Cardinals that wild card spot. You know what I'm
No shot.
saying? It's just not going to happen.
No shot.
Bucks obviously at 2 and 0 have a much better chance of getting that. They get their division, they can make it to the dance. But
Squeaked out 2 wins at the end.
yeah, and at the very end, very,
Mhm.
very true. So it's a lot to think about when you see these 2 and 0 squads starting off. Like I said, it's early. Week
It's
two
early.
diagnosis. A lot can change in 2 weeks, but got to call it how we see it early. Now, switching over, we do have some 0-2 teams that I feel like we don't need to put the warning flag up. But before we get into that, we got to preface. Starting with the 0-2 season, it's historically known it decreases your chances of making the playoffs. That's just how it rolls. Looking at the historical statistics since the NFL merger 43 out of 422 teams have made the playoffs at 0-2. Since 2020, only 5 out of 43 teams have made the playoffs. So as we look at that and look at who's 0-2 now, Taji, who do you think can beat that stereotype? Obviously, that's a very, very staggering statistic, but which teams
So
do you think can get out of it?
since there's only a handful of 0-2 teams, and out of that group, there's only one maybe or two that has a chance to beat that. I think the Chiefs, obviously, they're not only a playoff staple, they're a championship game staple, a Super Bowl staple. They're there every year.
Yeah.
Their division's going to be a little bit tougher for them this year. It might not be an easier walk to the playoffs as it has been, but they might just have to do it a different way this time. You know, they might have to go through the wild card. Maybe they come back and they can still win their division. They're not out of it. They're the Chiefs. You know,
Yeah,
uh, they'll get they'll get their guys back. I think Worthy's back this week. They'll get Rashid Rice back. That'll be big for them. I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. They're the Chiefs. Um, and the Texans, just based on the division that they're in, have a chance. They've been in the playoffs both years under Stroud. He's a good player. He's coming off of a sophomore slump, and he needs to pick it up this year to keep his elite argument alive. But his team ain't really that great around him. His team is good around him. Like he has a good defense. He got a great head coach, but his O line is kind of his thorn. He and his receiving core can't quite stay healthy for him.
hmm
Um, we'll see. But I think the Chiefs and Texans, the only teams that really have a chance. The Bears, they could get in the playoffs as a wild card, but I don't think they're winning their division.
right, right, right.
Those are my only three that I think even have a chance. But the Chiefs will be good.
I agree with you, bro. I had the Chiefs, Texans, Bears if they really figure it out. Ben Johnson really has to get a grasp on his roster. Obviously, he just got there, so he's still figuring out how to win games with his team. Caleb, his first two games, like their opening drives are spectacular, but it just comes down to the errant throws that he has where he still thinks he's out there at Southern Cal and he can roll around and does that little flick of the wrist and it ends up being a pick in the league. You know what I'm saying? And we just can't have it. Um, I love him. DC baby. I think he'll obviously figure it out and he has weapons around him, running game, wide receiver room is there. But obviously as long as Patty Pat's upright, bro, we can't count that boy out. You know what I mean?
Never.
Now, considering he's what 0-3 in his last three games.
Shout out the Birds.
Two of the times that against Philly, you guys have had his number. Obviously, great game week two. Don't get me wrong, that was a good game to watch.
It was a good game.
But they got to figure it out. First time they're 0-2 since 2014, which was the first year that
Under Reed.
yeah, that was the first time that Reed had the head coaching job in KC.
Mm,
Um,
love it.
Now at the same time, we know what Mahomes is good for, but we could see what he's really good for considering he's starting at 0-2, something he's
Hmm.
not comfortable, he's never had to deal with.
Hmm.
Um, his weaponry isn't what it was when you have a prime Tyreek, you have a prime Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey got engaged this offseason. Like,
Shout out
he,
my dog. He
shout
gave
out to
me the
bro.
game.
He got it done, and he
Got it
knows he
done.
can ride off in the sunset. He's
Exactly.
forever chilling. So,
He's
like,
good.
I know he's mad, but in the back of his head, he knows his resume is Hall of Fame.
His hunger ain't out there same, man. I'm telling you, his hunger ain't the same.
Doggy. Respect. I like it because he it's just he doesn't I don't want to say he doesn't have to have that hunger
He's
because he
just too
doesn't
he's
have
too
anything to
happy right
prove,
now.
but
That's
he's
all. He's
yeah,
just too happy.
he's got one of the greatest to ever do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like
He don't
right now.
he ain't
He's
got
just
no
in a good
worries.
mood. He came out back-to-back chips. Like he almost won three. Just, I mean, he feeling good still. I ain't mad at him.
Can be.
He go,
Can
this will
be.
make him tap back in though, I think.
For sure, for sure. And like you said, getting a couple of wide receivers back within the next couple of weeks is definitely going to help them out.
Talented
Um,
receivers.
yeah. And I think, let me see. I want to say Pat's leading the team in rushing over 100. Like he's doing
Yeah, he
things that he
is.
hasn't really had to do to lose games. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes.
I think once they get healthy, things will change for them for sure. Texans as well. Like you said, their biggest problem is their O line. The biggest stat I saw, ninth worst pass block win rate in the NFL. Um, you got to be able to protect that man. Now, I in the film that I've watched, I feel like there's a lot of situations where Stroud's holding on to it a little bit too long, but in the back of your head, if you know you really don't have that much time to work with anyway, you try and play a little bit of hero ball. And that
Yeah.
doesn't really help. That doesn't really help most of the time. If you're like that, you can beat that, but that's yet to be really, really proven for Stroud. I still have faith in him. D'Amico, like you said, great coach, great football mind in this league, but they definitely got to get it together. I don't know when Mixon will come back, and obviously the running game helps the passing game tenfold. So once he gets back into the mix, things will be better for that. But I think if he can get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, trust his old line a little bit more, as hard as that may sound nowadays for him, I think they'll be straight. Now, worst 0 and 2. I mean, these are mostly self-explanatory.
Yeah, these will be easy ones.
These will be the easy ones. But who do we see drafting top five within the next year? You can start it off. The worst 0 and 2 teams so far this season.
I think the worst 0-2 teams so far are probably the Saints. They're going to be picking in the top again, I'm going to assume. The Jetters, they're going to be picking in the top again. And again, they won't have a quarterback there, probably. That's worthy of that pick. So
Mm,
they won't get a guy that's franchise changing. I mean, maybe they will. I mean, we'll see how the season goes along. Maybe someone will emerge.
yeah,
But they're going to be top of the draft, needing the quarterback, forced to pick a quarterback that ain't the guy. That's a late round talent.
right.
Uh, Jets, Saints, Browns. Browns, I don't know what they're doing over there. It seems like they don't even care. The Titans are pretty brutal. I feel bad for Cam Ward. He's throwing some nice balls. Even Slide Rid can't hold on to the ball for him.
Yeah,
It's a tough go. And the Panthers, they ain't looking real good.
for sure. I would agree with all of those. One team I don't like at 0 and 2 at all is the Dolphins at all. I
I
think
know.
I think McDaniel gets fired by the midseason.
What's going on with them?
I I think their biggest problem is one, they're not really getting up the field. Their third down conversions is one of the worst. They convert at a 51.9% clip. That's just not gonna get it done in today's league. It's just not. Um, Points allowed, they rank 31st. So, I
Oh,
mean, in two
defense.
games, they've let up 30. That's not going to happen. You lose Ramsey, you bring over Minka, but I don't think Minka
Back,
won't be
Minka.
there. You know what I
They
mean?
brought him back. They already got rid of him once. He don't want to be
You
there.
don't want to be there. Interior pass rush, you look at Bradley Chubb,
Solid.
Jalen Phillips, he's solid as
They just can't
well.
stay healthy usually.
Can't stay clean. Yeah, and it's just, I think it's a lot of bad luck on one end. Tua's gotta pick it up. As much as I love Tua, one of the biggest conversations I remember going back to again and again early in our podcast era was out of that 2019 class, which quarterback do we think would emerge as the top dog? Tua, Herbo, Burrow. But it's just he's not consistent enough.
Hurts.
He's not consistent enough.
You
And we
forgot. You
would have
forgot
thought.
one. You forgot one.
Yeah, but I say I leave him out because we weren't talking about him at that time. You know
No,
what I'm
I know.
saying? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Respectfully, respectfully.
Respectfully, everybody, respectfully, we all like love this game though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think to, they might trade Tyreek. It seems like he obviously at the end of the last year he was saying he wanted out, and Tua being getting paid as much as he did, he came out to the media saying we can't have that in the locker room. It's gonna take a lot of time to get that trust back, and
Yeah, it feels like
Tyreek
their
ain't
locker
tripping.
room is like not. They don't have one.
No, no.
That's what it seems like.
And as much as I know McDaniel's a smart football mind, I don't know if he's the man to get that locker room gel together. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I think it'll take a more mature, seasoned coach to really figure things out as far as the chemistry is concerned with that team.
yeah. If he walked into a great situation, he might be a great head coach, but
Right.
he might, for now, he might just be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I like that. I hear you. Obviously, we got some Dolphins fans in the family and no Omerta, but they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. I like that. Browns, I mean, they have Deshaun Watson. Hey, I don't have my Apple Watch on right now, but why not, bro? Why not?
Yeah.
Let me see what I wrote. Because I had some staggering notes about
Shadur.
Flacco. Flacco's
Shadur.
first game in B-more since he's been in the uni, which is very weird considering he hasn't really been out of the league, but it's his
That
first
is crazy.
first time back in the bank. He had an interception which led to points, sack fumble, scoop and score by Roquan. Like he's great. Flacco is great in this time of his life. He's great for like maybe 4 or 5 wins that are just like, okay, Flacco's good to stay in the league. You know what I'm
He's,
saying?
which means he's a perfect backup.
Exactly.
You
And it
mean?
just it's delusional at this point to think that you can have Flacco out there for 17 games and think you're gonna compete. And I
Yeah.
mean that with all due respect.
Yeah.
Great backup to have. He's gonna help the young guns, but it's to the point where kind of like with Danger Russ and Jackson Dart, like the only way you're really gonna see what these dudes are good for is with repetitions.
Hmm.
Throw them out into the fire. Some of them need more help early, some of them can get it done with less, and you just got to find that out in due time. But considering the fact that the ownership said they didn't want Shador, blase blah, this, that, and the third. It's the Browns being the Browns. You know what I mean? I would love to see
Perfect
that play
timing.
out
That's all
there.
I know. When he get
That's
in, perfect time.
doggy. I'd love to see him out there as soon as possible.
Hmm.
But
Everybody would. That's the thing. Cleveland want to see him out there. That's
they
why you
really
got to
do.
rock with it. Even
They
even
really
the
do.
Kelsey brothers, they'll be on there like, push Shadur in, man. Why don't we just get him in the game? Like everybody that's a Cleveland fan wants Shadur in the game.
Yeah,
Might
they
as well
do.
let him get out there. At least he'll sell some tickets.
I didn't see the viewing count that preseason game, but I know at least all of Black America was tapped into that
Yeah, I
preseason
saw
game.
something that said Shadur got everybody tuned into a Browns Panthers preseason game. That's how you know that's different.
I love them. And I mean it's about like we said with the locker room in Miami. You can tell that they're riding with Bull. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like
Hmm.
even in that preseason game, they were hyping him up with the plays that he made that were
Yeah,
good, cheering him up on some of the bad throws and the sacks that he took in that next one.
yeah.
Then you don't let him finish the 2 minute. You put in Snoop Huntley when you know you're gonna cut him. It's just like what are we
Weird.
doing? What are we
Weird.
doing? But obviously, the Browns are going to brown it up every single
Every
year until
time.
proven otherwise. So we'll see them in a top five pick come March.
Yeah.
Um, let's move on. I like that talk. Now,